Hi, I'm Jeff Saylor with InnoTool. I'm coming to you from our workshop at the Lasanthaville Design Collective in Cincinnati, Ohio. Today, we're going to use our board stretcher to stretch a board into a circle for a piece of trim for a 5-foot diameter circular window. This is the board stretcher we'll be using. Now, putting a piece of circular trim around a window is nothing new. They've been doing it for many years. It's just the way that we do it is completely new. The way that it used to be done was with a piece of wood like this. You would take it and you would draw your inside circle. You want a 4-inch wide piece of trim, you draw your other outside circle. Look how wide a board you need. This is not an inexpensive piece of wood to be making a piece of trim out of. What I did was I went to the job site and I collected all these little scrap pieces right here. I'm going to make a huge piece of trim to go around a 5-foot diameter window. That's 179 inches all the way around on the inside. Let's get started. So I've collected my scrap pieces from the job site. I've got all different sizes here. I want to end up with something, but let's do the math and we'll see what it is. So I know that my inside diameter is 59 inches. Multiply that by pi, and that comes out to 179 inch diameter. Now I got to think about how many pieces I want to make that into. So I break it down. Let's see here. We're going to divide it by 28 pieces. That would be about 6.39 inches. So about 6 3/8, we'll call it. So if I'm going to use 28 pieces, I'll have short 6-inch pieces here. So if I'm going to have 28 to get my degree that I need, I'll take the 360, divide that by 28. That comes out to 6.42 degrees, so not quite 6.5 degrees. So what we'll do is we'll set our table saw up at 6.5 degrees. I've already measured my line here, so that's my 6 3/8 at the bottom, which comes out to almost 8 inches at the top. Let's go ahead and cut some boards. Go ahead and line up on this at this board. Got this good angle here. Set it up in here. Cut off our excess. There's 2 more pieces. I'll go ahead and cut the rest of these, and we'll put them in the jig. There's our 2 pieces. Let's take them over to the jig. The board stretcher is set in place. It has 2 holes, so we want to anchor it to a solid table. Insert the 2 boards. These are custom made with the same degree that we already cut on our board right here. So we've already got that figured and made those pieces separately. There'll be a separate kit where you can get these degrees for different size windows and different size trim. A 6-inch board is about the maximum that will fit in this jig. Let's get our router, our key, and since that's such a wide board, I've had to get a couple of vibration dampening wedges. I'll show you how those work. Key sets up in here. This is the width of this bearing right here, so that we're not shortening our boards as we come through with the router, because we had our predetermined length. Set that in place, slide the block up, clamping it tight against the back. Tighten this one down to hold it down into place. Set the other board up with our spacer key. Slide the block up, tighten it in place, tighten the board down. And like I say, since these are wider boards, I'm putting this vibration dampener out here at this end to keep them from bouncing around. I just put them in securely, not real hard, because I don't want to flex anything. Make sure our router is turned off. Off position. Now let's cut our pieces. So let's loosen our clamps up, take out our vibration wedges, loosen the block clamp, nice good solid fit. You can see right here there's a little bit of a bow in the wood, so it took a little bit off right there. Nice solid fit. Let's do some more of these. Now that we've got all of our pieces cut and the joints routed in, we're ready to glue them together. It does not take a lot of glue because of all those joints back and forth. That creates a lot of surface area. And with this grain, I don't want it spilling out, getting over here, because I can't sand this side. And this is going to be our finished side. This side, if it was smoother, doesn't make so much of a difference because we could sand any excess glue off. So just run our beads, mainly our two outer ones, because we want to make sure that we got a real good bond there. Just a little glue all over. And it doesn't make much. I made a mistake once before where I put too much glue in and the joints were so tight that they didn't want to fit together very well. So just a little bit of glue goes a long way. Semicircle piece when it's ready. We'll let that set up for just a moment, and then we'll glue the next one together. Tomorrow we'll come back and cut the radius. We did our glue up of our boards last night. Let's see how they turned out. Looks like we got a nice good seam. Stayed tight up against our forms. Let's talk about the joint itself for a minute. Most joints are cut on a 45 or a 30-degree angle and pinned with a small brad nail. Ours are completely different. We do a finger joint. This gives you a lot more surface area for gluing and strength of the joint. If you picked up a regular piece like this, it would snap this off right here. But ours are so strong that you can pick them up and it stays in one piece. As with every project, the client called last night and said that they gave me a wrong dimension, that the exterior piece of trim is actually 1 inch larger than the interior. Most of the time this would be a problem, but our board stretcher is designed just specifically for this problem. What we'll end up doing is changing our angle slightly, finger joining another piece, and adding one more board in, give us that extra size. Let's see how it works. So I've set this up on a jig where I can do a quarter of it at a time. So I've got 7 pieces. I glue them in place, push them together. I have a nice solid back to put it again, so I make sure that everything's staying straight. Let it set up, and it's good to go. I'll cut my circle on the inside, my circle on the outside, take them to the job site, put them in place. If there's any adjustments that need to be made, we'll do that in the field. As you can see, these are all just short little blocks of wood. So the glue up went great. We've stretched all these little boards into a huge circle. The joints are solid and strong. As you know, the customer called last night and said the exterior trim needs to be 1 inch larger than the interior trim. As you know, we set all of our angles precisely based on how many pieces we were going to use. Now we have to add one more piece. In order to do this and keep good tight joints, I was able to change the angle that we were cutting it by 1 degree. You can see it on this piece here, where it's larger on this side and shorter here. That's our 1 degree that we've added. And I've done that same thing at the intersection of all 4 of the joints, here, here, and behind me. Now, we'll take this piece, add it in, pull our joints tight, scribe our outside circle, and cut them for the right size. Let's get started. Insert the extra block to get the extra width. Checking all the joints, make sure they're good. They all look good, solid. Check them all the way around once more. I've built a compass, and I'm going to mark the outside circle all the way around. Check it on all 4 sides. Make sure I'm good. Looks like we are. Now I'm going to cut the outside, mark the outside circle. I'm going to cut it first, and then I'll use the bandsaw to cut the inside edge also. Let's get started on that. We're going to use this bandsaw to cut our line that we drew with the compass. We'll cut this outside one freehand, and we'll take it over to the belt sander and smooth it out. Let's take it over to the belt sander, get up close to our line. Now we'll take our fence. We think we've got it set to 3.5. That's how well we want our trim. It is set at 3.5. We'll use that as a guide